Hey Narwhals, it's your host Luke Narwhal, and today we're going to be reading a weight loss story from Reddit. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Also, just a question before we begin, have any of you ever experienced public shaming or ridicule for your appearance? Go ahead and comment that in the comment section below just because I'm curious how often this does happen, and let's get right into the story. I had just boarded my plane this morning and sat down next to this man. He was on the phone and said, "Great, this 275-pound woman just sat down next to me. I'm only 150 pounds. I really don't take up that much space, especially on an airplane. I started at 200 pounds last year and have managed to lose 50 pounds. Sure, I'm 5'1", so I don't exactly look great, but I absolutely don't look like what this man said. Embarrassed and hurt, I spent my entire flight trying to make myself as small as possible. Now the flight is over and I'm still really upset. I still want to lose a lot of weight and will keep working on it, but I feel so discouraged at the moment. Has this ever happened to any of you? How did you get yourself through it mentally?" You know what? Losing 50 pounds is a great achievement. Lots of people would love to do that, but for whatever reason haven't managed it. It can be a real struggle. He is a rude scumbag with no manners. Any fool can sit there and complain about somebody else, and that is not an achievement. You are a winner. He is a loser. I was running in Central Park yesterday with my boyfriend, and a man oinked at us as we passed. My boyfriend is a string bean, and I'm only just in the overweight category at 150 pounds at 5'4". A grown man oinked at us. Take solace in the fact that you're trying to better yourself, while they'll likely always be a piece of crap with zero regard for other humans. Keep doing what you're doing, and don't ever let anyone convince you to stop. Holy crap, yeah, I'd be pissed and hurt. Sounds like a huge idiot. You're obviously not too heavy for your seat with those stats. Heck, I was 270 pounds last time I flew, and A, didn't fit in my seat, and B, would not have deserved that kind of ridicule. I know this is easier said than done, but try to not take his words personally. My guess is he had planned to say something like that no matter who sat down, unless a very thin person. Don't take personally what that ignorant and judgmental person said to you. They have no idea who you are or what you've been through. You're amazing for losing 50 pounds and continuing on in your journey. Don't let what one person says change your mind, especially someone who is that rude and just plain mean. People like that don't deserve to make you feel less than you are. Don't ever make yourself feel small to cater to other people. Take up as much room as you want because your body in space is beautiful and you should feel comfortable existing in your space. It's hard to get through this mentally when people talk to us this way and make us feel worthless. But remember that no person is better than another person based on their personal appearance. That's only a social construct, and when we change our mind in the way we look at others, including that man, we change ourselves and the world. Keep on trying. You got this, and I'm so happy for you that you were able to lose 50 pounds and that you're still going. Definitely would have waited till he got off the phone, then jumped like I felt my phone vibrating, pretended to answer it, and then said out loud, "Yeah, just like I was worried about how I got seated next to the ugliest guy in the plane. Yeah, he's low intelligence too. Call you when I get there. Bye." Then just smugly enjoyed the rest of the ride. I am a larger gal, and this guy came strolling down the aisle, stopped, looked at me, looked at the ticket, looked at the seat number, and says to his girlfriend behind him, "Are you friggin' kidding me?" I look up from my book. She's mortified. He proceeds to ask her to switch seats. She's off in the back with other people she knows, and like a mom to a child, she says, "Sit down." He throws his crap in the overhead, slams down in his seat, and doesn't even look at me. I feel compelled to point out 12B was probably 30 to 35 going on 14. It was in that moment I decided to be that seatmate. You know the one. "Hey, I like your bag. What brand is it? Where are you headed? You from here? What do you do for work? Are you a tech guy? You going to San Diego for work or for fun? Here, let me show you pics of my puppy. She's a baby." And the sprawl, you guys. No longer was I leaning over to one side to allow for this idiot a little extra room. I'm in all my glory, leg leaning against his, got up and down a few times to get into the overhead, talked incessantly. I'm sure it was 2 hours and 12 minutes of sheer hell, and I enjoyed every second of it. Guy behind me caught onto my shenanigans and accidentally may have slammed his foot into the back of 12B a couple of times. Oops. Moral here, don't be an idiot. First off, I'm sorry you had to deal with this. A slight modification of what some people have said, hit your call button. When flight attendant arrives, ask to be reseated. When asked what the problem is, reply, "It's a cleanliness issue. Someone left a piece of crap in the seat next to me." Similar thing happened to me. I sat down in my aisle seat, man sitting in the middle. I always try and make myself as small as possible, and I know I was not in his seat area at all. Then I see him with his forward-facing camera, trying to sneakily take a photo of me. I wasn't brave enough to say, "Excuse me, is there a reason you're taking my photo?" So I pretended I didn't notice, I suppose because I knew why he was taking my photo. A minute later, I looked down and see him texting the photo to someone with the words "fat lady" in the text. I looked away and literally spent the entire flight holding back tears. I hurriedly sent a text to my mom before taking off, telling her what happened. She replied words of encouragement, but I still spent 4 hours trying not to cry. Worst part is that I had recently just lost 40 pounds, and somewhere in the middle of the flight he asked to be let out to go to the restroom, and when I stood back up to let him in, he said thank you and patted me on the arm as if he were the kindest person in the world. This made me even more mad and hurt. Ever since then, I have serious anxiety about flying. I've never really been an anxious person, but ever since, I dread flying and have to tell myself over and over that it's fine and I'll never see those people again. So I'm with you. I know how it feels. And while I can't give any words of wisdom about how to deal with the who's who of human crap, the fact you posted something and seeing everyone's encouraging comments give me a little more confidence and lets me know I'm not alone. This almost made me cry. God, people are freaking terrible. You never know someone else's story, like the fact you were actively losing weight. I wish more of us had the courage to call out these bumholes when these things happen so they don't get away with their behavior with no consequences. Congrats on your weight loss, and never let some ignorant idiot bring you down. I'm sorry you experienced that. I've been trying to teach my kids that when other people say nasty things, you don't have to feel anything. Anyone could say nasty/rude things to me, and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I've really internalized the belief that a rude comment from a stranger is about them, not me. Because what happy, healthy person makes rude comments about other people? They don't. Only people suffering from low self-esteem or who are unhappy with themselves or their lives say nasty things. Knowing that, I'm not required to feel anything about what some random dude says. It's not about me. The problem is theirs, not mine. Learning to view things through this lens has really improved my life. I'm hoping my daughters learn it sooner in life than I did. I was on a layover waiting for my next flight, and this guy sitting across from me was practically yelling into his phone about how, yeah, the flight attendants on my last flight had the biggest bums I'd ever seen. They had no business being on a plane. This guy was no athlete himself, so I'm really not sure what the frig he was trying to prove. I just glared at him at the time and thought of like a dozen comebacks after the whole thing was over, of course. Honestly, some people are just going to be rude jerks to everyone. It's nothing personal. No one has any business commenting about complete strangers' bodies. You've achieved a lot, and don't let one bumhole take that away from you. Yes, it has happened to me. At the time, I was 6'2", about 235 pounds with a 34-inch waist, and without a trace of fat on me. When I got to my assigned seat, coach/window, a woman and her daughter gave me a look of absolute disgust. Heavy sighs as I worked my way to my seat. The woman rudely asked the flight attendant if I could be moved, or if they could move. Very offensive. In response, the flight attendant looked at me and said, "Come with me, there is room in first class." The woman then went wild, saying she and her daughter should go to first class. I flipped her the bird very publicly and followed the flight attendant to first class. In any event, F that rude POS and keep going on your journey. Good luck and Godspeed. A senior monk and a junior monk were traveling together. At one point, they came to a river with a strong current. As the monks were preparing to cross the river, they saw a very young and beautiful woman also attempting to cross. The young woman asked if they could help her across to the other side. The two monks glanced at one another because they had taken vows not to touch a woman. Then, without a word, the older monk picked up the woman, carried her across the river, and placed her gently on the other side, and carried on his journey. The younger monk couldn't believe what had just happened. After rejoining his companion, he was speechless, and an hour passed without a word between them. 2 more hours passed, then 3. Finally, the younger monk couldn't contain himself any longer, and blurted out, "As monks, we are not permitted a woman. How could you then carry that woman on your shoulders?" The older monk looked at him and replied, "Brother, I set her down on the other side of the river. Why are you still carrying her?" And that brings us to the end of the video, narwhals. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't yet, tap the red subscribe button to join the Narwhals, our awesome YouTube community. And once again, the question of the day is, have you ever experienced something like this, where somebody actually ridiculed you or shamed you in public for your appearance, whether it was your weight or something else? Go ahead and comment that in the comment section below so we can see our community's stories from these kind of things. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a good one, Narwhals.